The man who cleans up murder scenes.
Cleaned up close to 300 or 400 different scenes where people...
That is wild. Like, are they calling him in from far away to where he has to pull up and clean that shit, or is he just working in, like, New York City?
Put a knife in their stomach and cut themselves open while they're alive. Even one gentleman decided to take some scissors and cut his intestines while he'd done it and throw them in the bath.
Cut his intestines while he was dying. I do know that in some Asian countries, what is the method? It's intertwined with some religions where I feel like it starts with an H, where they'll stab themselves and cut themselves open in their stomach. Seppuku is a harakiri, also called a harakiri, is a form of Japanese ritualistic suicide by disembowelment. It was originally reserved for samurai in their code of honor. They basically like stab themselves with a katana and then like slice outward and down, and it like spills out their organs. It wasn't religious, but I know. I said it might have been, and then I Googled it and read it.
So then how did you get into the cleaning business?
So I started window cleaning just as a lifestyle choice, really. I could earn a few £100s a day.
I knew that from Eldon. They did that in Eldon.
I started window cleaning just as a lifestyle choice, really.
Wow, what a f***ing change, dude. Yeah, I used to be a window cleaner, and now I clean up organs out of baths.
I could earn a few £100s a day, and then work a couple of days a week, and then just do what I wanted to do the other days. And one of the ladies who I cleaned her windows for, she asked me whether we would clean one of her properties where someone had been in for 10 years and no one had been able to go and see this person. It was a warden-assisted flat, but it was so bad, the state of it, that no one would go in.
In what way was it bad?
So when we opened the door, the floor was kind of moving with fleas. That was the first.
Well, and then the bad thing is, dude, like, really old people that don't have many connections can die, and no one really knows for, like, years or a year. Like, if you're an old person, you don't have an income outside of, like, pension, and your house is paid off and all of this other shit, you could, like, die, and your cats could eat you, and then also die around you, and, like, no one finds your body for, like, 3 years.
Thing, which we'd not really encountered, so...
and then it probably fucking reeks because your whole house is just falling apart and you're decomposing.
Get some specialist chemicals.
My cats would never. Your cats would eat you. The second you died, your cats would eat you. Dogs would withstand for a certain period of time usually, but your cats will eat you.
Deal with it. And then I went into the bathroom. One of the lads who worked for me went into the kitchen. The bath I was dealing with was completely full of feces right to the top, and the toilet was.
All right, this isn't philosophy, but I need to watch this video. Filled to the entire bathtub was filled with shit to the top. So they were just sitting on the edge and just taking a dump in the toilet, not draining it or flush, or maybe it was clogged, and then just moving on.
As well. And he was in the kitchen, which was also in a terrible state. The third lad that was with us threw up in his face mask and nearly choked, so we had to rip his mask off, and he went and sat in the van. And then we carried on cleaning it. And
they probably had to take like 7 showers after being in that, just because it probably like just stays on you. That stench.
Yeah, so we kind of...
Like, you know when you go to a bonfire and your hair smells like fire for like 3 weeks, even if you wash your hair a bunch? Like that.
Got it. All of that muck, body fluid.
How much for you to clean that? Not even everything else. Just a clogged toilet and bathtub filled to the top with shit. $40,000. For me, I don't even know what I would do. I feel like I would start getting like a bucket and maybe like scooping it.
10 years of grot and grime, cleaned it all up and deodorized it. There's some people who won't do it for anything, all the money in the world, you know. There's people who are scared of blood and scared of needles and all that goes with it. But most people have got a threshold that as long as you give them enough money for it, they'll do it.
And how much did they pay you for just getting clean that house?
Yeah, so she came in after we'd finished, and she was like overjoyed. So we said, look, it's £2,000, okay? And
2,000 pounds? Bitch, I would have said, give me 40 grand. Give me 10 grand. 2,000 pounds for you to clean that?
She was like, yeah, fine. Wrote us a check there and then for
Oh my God. And that's how you know you underballed. That's how you know you underballed a motherfucker. If somebody asks you, hey, how much? And you say, and they immediately agree, they had a much higher number in your head. I used to do ads before I had a manager, and there's how much? I'd be like, I don't know, like $200. Yeah, immediately. Oh, really? Yeah, for sure. Because now you can't renegotiate negotiate. You already just offered a price. You're not going to be like, well, actually, I need more.
And I was kind of 20 years old and just thought, I've earned £2,000, less 300 quid to pay one of the lads. So 1,700 quid for a day's work. I'm not going to look back. But to be honest with you, I really just saw pound signs instead of seeing anything else. I just saw, so actually, if we can solve this problem, what can we charge? And that's how it started. We realised if we were going to go to local authorities, police, undertakers, and offer them our services, that we'd have to have something to kind of shore us up, or to be recognised that we knew what we were doing. I went to a college in Birmingham to learn how to clean crime scenes, which was hilarious because it was just a lady in a miniskirt and high heels that poured some tomato sauce on a desk. We learned how to do that, how to clean that up, and walked away with this.
So you had to get a college degree to clean up dead bodies, and your classes were consistent of cleaning up tomato sauce?
Certificate saying that we were...
I feel like that doesn't really prepare you. That might be the one college degree that really doesn't prepare you for the fucking job at hand. Yeah, you getting a college degree in like business communications or fucking marketing isn't preparing you for the marketing job that you need. Let alone you cleaning up tomato sauce and then getting thrown in a room where somebody got decapitated and you're like, hey, here's the head.
About 10 miles from where I live, and it was a solicitor that asked for our help. There was a property where a gentleman had passed away, and he'd been there for 8 weeks.
Ooh.
And his dog had eaten his face and his leg. And we were faced with loads of weird things. So I opened the door initially, and a swarm of blue bottles flew past me, and I had no idea whether that would, they would carry any pathogen. Didn't know whether I should have killed them before I let them out. The smell was horrendous. And the masks we had at the time weren't very good. But you could smell this horrible decomposed odour. And it was nothing like dead animals. It was nothing like I'd been used to in the past. The gentleman had I think, had fallen off of a sofa and died on the sofa or died on the floor. And we could see this big black outline. So it's all black body fat. So the body kind of initially blows and then bursts, and then all that fluid comes out. So the head
bursts? When you die, you explode like a pimple? So like what? Like the gases in his body just expand until he blows up?
Heavier the person, the more body fat that comes out of the person. His body fat decomposed through the wooden floor, through the carpet, into the wooden floor, and then into the concrete. So it took me about 3 hours to get his body fat out of the concrete.
Wow.
And then we realised that there was a shop underneath. So we went round the other way and came in through the roadway, and it was a clothes shop. And we said to the lady who was running it, did she know that she had any experience with bad smells? And she said, I think there's a dead rat above the ceiling, because maggots keep falling in to the changing rooms. And we were like, really sorry, it's not.
Ma'am, how do I put this? There's been a dead guy laying on your roof for the last 8 weeks, and his fat sifted through the ceiling. And so when you see stuff dripping from the ceiling, that's actually a dead guy's liquidated fat.
A dead rat. Someone's actually passed away up there. And then she kind of screamed, and that she didn't realise what was going on. And so that was kind of a strange one. But it was great for us because we get 2 places to clean up. We get the shop and the flat. So yeah, it was all a bit of a learning curve, but nothing like that desk with a tomato sauce on it at all.
What does a decomposing body smell like?
The smell is a very strong ammonia smell. If you think of leaving a chicken breast in a fridge that doesn't work for a few weeks, it's kind of that, but kind of times 10. When I was in South America a few years ago, somebody kindly we were in a Thai restaurant, gave me some rotting Thai fish sauce, and it's the first time I've ever kind of linked the smell with anything horrendous when I've eaten something, and that reminded me very much of it. So that a decomposed fish, bizarrely, was very similar to a decomposed body, but again, not the same.
What's the most disgusting thing you've ever seen?
Yo, and that's what's crazy is that, have you ever smelled something like horrible and it never left your nose? Like you could probably think of something right now that was disgusting that you smelled, like the smell of vomit. Like you could probably smell the smell of vomit right now if you're somebody that's like thrown up or been around vomit, or like any of those, or just shit in general. Like that smell of a dead body is that would never leave your brain.
Probably the worst thing I've done was I had a phone call from our local police authority to go to a property where a gentleman had died, and he was a hoarder. So they opened the front door, and it was just like a tunnel. There was a suitcase and another suitcase, and everything else just boxes. So I kind of crawled in and went up and got to a door, and I couldn't get through the door. So I came back and said, and I was kind of naive to what was going on a little. And then they ended up breaking
Was he dead or barricaded in?
window. So by this point, there was about 80 people watching from this council estate. And as soon as they broke the window, the smell, everybody just kind of ran into their houses. So the fire brigade took the window out, and then all of the items that he'd hoarded had fallen on top of him.
Oh!
So we had to uncover them for the scenes of crimes officer to come and take a photo of the body. So that was not very often do we go there, and the body is still there. But with this situation, it was. So we uncovered everything, and sadly, I moved a bag, and the gentleman's foot came off, and I had.
Oh my god! Yo, he was like tenderized beef, like his foot just fell off.
And then when we got down to the body, then the scenes of crimes officer could come in and take a photograph. And bizarrely, they had to have 2 doctors come in to pronounce that the person was actually dead, even though they'd been there for...
They had to get a doctor confirmation. There was all of his stuff fell on his body, and they had to get a motherfucker to come in here and go, yep, that guy's dead. We need a second opinion, though.
For 8-10 weeks. And they decomposed. They were on about 4 or 5 mattresses, the body was, and it had gone through about 3 of them. So
Why is he laughing? Coping with bad things. Comedy comes from trauma to a lot of people, like especially like comedian trauma response, right? His job on a daily basis is experiencing horrific things, and so it makes it better for him to laugh at it. It's him coping with the fucking, experience of seeing a fucking dead human foot get ripped off as you pull a trash bag out, and you just go, nah. You laugh.
It was pretty horrendous from a visual, smell, whole kind of situation. In fact, I had 2 friends that were helping me. We were supposed to be going fishing that day, and I had to put the fishing trip off but this job came in, and so both my friends came with me so that we could get it done quickly, so we could go fishing. And they'd never seen anything like it before. One of the lads, his wife is a vegetarian.
You just got your friends to come help you clean up a dead body. Your friends are a union fucking plumber and just maybe a school teacher. And it's a fucking Saturday, and you're like, I can't go fishing, guys. Gotta go clean up a dead body. And they go, nah, we'll help you. Oh, sorry, let me just move these trash bags. Oh, there's his foot.
Vegetarian. And it was the first time that she'd cooked him meat, and she did him a leg of lamb, and he got home to this leg of lamb, and he said, I just can't eat it. And it was just, I felt so sorry for what I'd kind of impacted him with.
What's a normal day in the life of a crime scene cleaner?
For day to day, you never know what's going to happen when the phone rings. It could be something simple where somebody has taken an overdose and there's very little to clean. It could be where somebody has committed suicide, and we've had some horrific situations. I've probably cleaned up close to 300 or 400 different scenes where people have disemboweled themselves, put a knife in their stomach and cut themselves open while they're alive. Even one gentleman decided to take some scissors and cut his intestines while he'd done it and throw them in the bath.
Dude, they gotta be on like PCP, dude. They gotta be on like some crazy ass shit. Like you're alive and you're like pulling your intestines out of your stomach and like cutting them with scissors.
We've had situations where people have killed themselves with a shotgun in a conservatory, so their whole head has gone through a polycarbonate roof all over the ceiling and all over the room. Some are outside in piggeries and dairies, and most farmers have got a shotgun, so it happens quite a lot on farms. We've had lots of other situations as well where there's been crimes committed, where people have killed their partners, or people have just murdered people. To have to go to a family home and clean up after that kind of is really sensitive and difficult. I've just wanted to make the place better for people, and when you know the story, it gets quite sad sometimes. We very often come across suicide notes that are left. And
oh my God. And then what does he do with them? Does he hand them to the family? Because, like, he's the first guy reading that. It's so weird because he has no personal attachment to any of the people, but he's going into their homes and, like, basically learning about their entire life as they're dead. Like, as they're laying in front of him, if the body's there or not, he's cleaning up fucking blood splatter and dead shit everywhere, and there's suicide notes, like, kind of detailing their whole life. You have no idea who they were, but now you're the one that's cleaning up their dead body.
And you can then grasp what's happened.
And reading their last thoughts. Yeah, dude.
Kind of, you know, if a father has lost custody of his son and he's committed suicide, then that has an impact because I've got children and I don't know how I would feel if that happened to me. One of the first ones that kind of got me, I don't know if it's emotionally or mentally really, but we went to Bournemouth and a chap had bludgeoned two professional people. The gentleman had bludgeoned his wife to death, and it was so violent. There was literally blood everywhere. I mean, you could open a drawer, and there was blood in with the cutlery, and then if you looked underneath the drawer, there was blood underneath the drawer. It was even in the washing machine. It had gone through the washing machine seal, in the lights, on the lights, everywhere. It was kind of this fine mist. And so you realise how violent it had been. But then the police officer told us that the lady...
Wow. Because he's not, like, he's saying most of the times the bodies aren't there. So he's walking into a room that's just literally doused with blood and being like, yeah, this person bludgeoned them. So he's just trying to imagine, like, what the fuck they probably looked like. Like, their head probably was gone. If you bludgeon somebody to death, like, hit him in the head with a hammer 100 times, like, they probably, like, unrecognizable body.
Had survived for 3 days on the floor, and then her neighbour found her, and she died on the way to hospital. And that was really sad that happened. But also, I married.
Wait, the woman that the man bludgeoned lived on the floor for 3 days?
And then her neighbour found her, and she died on the way to hospital. And that was really sad that happened. But also, I married, and I've had an argument with my wife and get to that point where you just walk out and come back an hour later and say sorry. But for someone to not do that and flip and kill someone or take someone's life, that kind of messed me up a bit.
Yeah, like, I mean, dude, I'm not married, but, like, I mean, obviously me and Brooke are a couple. Me and Brooke have had arguments, but you just walk away, you come back, and then you have a genuine conversation. I can't even imagine the level of anger somebody would have to be willing to kill the person that's closest to them. For you to be like, not only you're gonna kill them, but also ruthlessly, like, hurt them. Like, that's not even a quick death. It's not even like, oh, I'm angry at them, I'm gonna shoot them. I'm angry at them, I'm gonna fucking bludgeon them with a hammer.
So much of the darkness of humanity, that leave a lasting impact on how you think about people?
I suppose I would love to say that I'm a real positive person. I would love to say that society is getting better and better. And I know there's people out there who really think that, but they probably have never done what we do. I've never seen such an increase in drug abuse, since we started this 20 years ago.
Wow, he really is the person that's, like, noticing the society's effects. Because throughout his career, if he's been doing this for 30 years, he's seeing an increase of more and more people that have overdosed that he has to clean up or something of those sorts.
We were maybe getting one needle pick every 2 or 3 weeks. Now we get 5 or 6 a day. We get loads of suicides, loads of murders. I think suicide now is the biggest killer of men under the age of 30, which is a horrific situation. People go to colleges and universities and they don't realise why the window's only open 4 inches. It's because before they did that, we were going there cleaning up loads of suicides where people had jumped out of buildings.
Wow, I did not know that. That's why college windows don't open. Dude, that is so sad. It's just because, dude, and it's so much worse because of the stress that, I don't want to say the stress that's put on men, but the stress that's put on men coupled with the fact that it's deemed as weak to seek help is fucking horrible.
It makes me want to be a better person, I think, with my family and with my friends and make sure that I'm not sucked into that.
Is that only America or also in Europe? This guy is from the UK.
Do you love the job?
Yeah, I do. I get incredibly bored incredibly quickly. So even if I'm working on one building for more than a couple of days.
Aren't college students statistically more depressed? I don't know the depression rate, but anxiety, yeah. The anxiety rates or levels of anxiety that college students have is much higher than other groups of people or demographics, rather.
I can't cope with that. I need to get out and change my kind of surroundings. And so this job changes every single day. I love that about it. I love that we help families. I love that we help make things better. I love that we undo problems for people. But I really, really love that I never know what we're going to be doing the next day or what I'm going to be dealing with.
Vice versa for me. I mean, it really depends, dude. I think you can have a lot of fun in life. What you make of it, you know? Whatever situation you're in, obviously, you can't definitively change your life drastically in a day, but you could strive to do so. And whatever situation, that is so fucking creepy. You just scared the actual shit out of me. You just scared the actual shit out of me. I swear to God, I was about to turn and I was about to punch whatever fucking demon was in that hand creeping out, just terrified me.